Domino's Pizza Australia. When ordering online, delivery charge was added to the first pizza. So I'd buy garlic bread, hot chips, chicken wings, a drink and some desserts, and skip the delivery fee by paying by card online. Kept it up for 2 years before they updated their terms and shut the loophole. I lived near a casino that would let you get chips using your credit card. I liked some at the shows and restaurants there, but never gambled. So every time I went I'd charge $5,000 to my credit card for chips. Then I'd cash out at a different teller, swing by the bank on the way home, deposit the money, and pay off my credit card. I did this maybe once a week. Boom, $5,000 of free points/cashback. The soda machine at a dorm I lived in had a weird glitch. If you put in 5 cents more than the asking price, and pushed the product select button, the machine would empty all of its change out at once. We did this a few times and got $20 to $40 each time. Not sure if it counts as a loophole, but I worked at a books/music/video store when I was in high school. We were supposed to remove the in-training portion of our name tags after the first 2 weeks. I just left mine on so that customers wouldn't ask me questions. A full year of hardly anyone talking to me at work was the best full year of my life. We had a situation at my old job, a huge, international company, where we'd work shifts, either August 10th, 12 hours. Anything after 8 hours was overtime. Sometimes we were scheduled for the next shift quite soon after the last one had ended, for example 5 to 12 o'clock, and then 1900 hours to midnight. Someone discovered that if there were less than 8 hours between shifts in a 24-hour period, anything after 8 hours total was paid the overtime rate. We did it for ages, and then in the context of some team chat, some twat asked one of the managers whether the above scheduling would still be feasible. Turned out the management hadn't even noticed and stopped it immediately. And back to minimum wage we went. I was visiting a hospital on a daily basis for many weeks, premature twin babies, but they didn't do multi-use discounts. There's the hours you were here pay up type of thing. And it was costing something like £5 to £10 per day. Until a few days in I realized that the hospital had only just appointed the car parking company, and they haven't yet installed the arrival time machine at the car park entrance, but had only put a temporary machine in the hospital lobby, which you were meant to use on your arrival. And from that day on I got my arrival time ticket when I was leaving and only paid minimum stay. Ages ago, there was a no buses except for access sign on a street in Greater Manchester, but a guy who owned a Ford Transit minibus he bought used exploited that rule, as it was a van-based bus with 12 seats, even though legally, since January 1997, the sign means no vehicles with 8 seats and over. I used to see that particular transit cutting through there a lot, wondered how he got away with it. It was one of those old ones like this with the smiley face grill. I don't know if he lived there or not, but I suppose, if you own one, and live on that street with the except for access restriction, loophole exploited. Years ago I would but a few games at a time. Some of the games I'd play for a few hours before deciding I didn't like the game. Since the games were opened, the store I bought them from wouldn't take it back. However, I learned that Walmart would exchange the game for you, no questions asked, without opening the new game. So I'd go to Walmart to exchange a defective game, take the new, unopened game to the store I originally bought it from and return it for full price. Oops. Clash of Clans during league battles. If you click the current opponent and quickly move to next war list, you can see every opponent's face before they are revealed. I got banned for 3 days. I haven't tried it, but some people are boozing the gift and return of Steam games to farm a fuck ton of Steam points. In England there's a shop called Tesco's, All year they sell Terry's chocolate oranges, but at Christmas they raise the price and give it a discount to encourage people to buy them despite it being the same price. Last year there was a loophole with stacking sales, so when you bought a toothbrush and 3 chocolate oranges, they gave you 50p. Between all my shopping there I must have bought about 70. I was going to give them as gifts, but they're really good, haha. Microsoft used to have, still might for all I know, online training for video game retailers in order to train store employees on current and upcoming products that they could sell. The training gave points for each video and knowledge quiz you took, which could be exchanged for free games, computer hardware, store gift cards, etc. By signing in under a random GameStop store ID number, which was posted online, skipping the video, and brute forcing the knowledge quiz, was able to rack up a whole bunch of points and get several Xbox games and simple computer hardware for essentially nothing. Never worked a day of retail in my life. If you order something from AutoZone online, they have a 25% off coupon. I order offline, set to pick up in store. By the time I get there it's ready, and I save 25%. You can open a Minecraft survival map to a LAN server and enable commands. It was when I learned this that I realized how weak I am. I have asthma, nothing crazy, but in high school I was able to fill out some paperwork with the nurse's office related to my chronic illness. In short, I was able to write my own excuses without a DR note, and I would be able to write excuse notes for past absences. I think I raked up 20 to 40 excused absences my freshman year alone. During online school, I found an extension on the Google Web Store for the Chrome Dino. You see, the Chrome Dino is disabled on our Chromebooks, and this was the only way to play it. Until the school day was over and I'd do other things. 1 credit card point for every dollar spent. But up to 5x for every dollar spent abroad. I've been on a 6-year holiday abroad, and they haven't brought it up. Getting round minimum buying from companies. Say I needed to spend £300 to not incur a carriage/delivery charge. I'd order out of stock items to put my price over the mark, and cancel them a few days later. Only really works if you have a credit account with the company. Loopholes 101. Look for specificity, and then go around it. I grew up in a strict house where we signed contracts at the beginning of every school year. This is where I learned to find loopholes in contracts for fun to test and exploit. Example from our contract. Process for when you get home from school. 1. Snack time 30 minutes, 1500 to 1532. In room for homework from 1530 to 1703, dinner at 1804, chores after dinner 5, bedtime at 2030. Exceptions, if you have a job or play a sport that occurs within those hours. This one was fun because it assumed I got home. If I didn't get home then I wasn't subject to any of this until I did. Additionally, the exception called for a sport or job. So from the age of 5 through 18 I played a sport and/or worked after school. Additionally, part 2 of that process didn't say you had to do your homework, or that dinner was at the house. I simply made assumptions based on the rules, and my parents would amend the contracts accordingly. As long as I could justify my action I was rarely punished for this, just scolded and told to stop. These contracts got pretty detailed by the time I was in high school. At my work, if you want to purchase more holidays, they calculate the cost via what they pay you per day, and then spread the total cost over a 12-month period to make the purchase easier for you. So if you buy 1 extra day, and your rate is £50 a day, you only pay £4. 16 a month, for example. If your pay increases, the cost scales with it, which gave me an idea. I knew I was in for a pretty big pay rise, so I bought 10 holidays just before it happened and asked if I could pay for them up front. They agreed, but thought I was mad. I got the pay rise, but all the holidays were paid for up front on my old salary, and they didn't clock on, so I saved about £400. Noise. Few years ago, you could buy our 6S DLC through Steam, activate it on Uplay, and refund it on Steam. You'd still have the DLC on Uplay, and your money back. It might have worked for different games too, but never tried. I've still got most of it, some of it has been removed over the years. Opened an Amex credit card, and the introductory offer was 10% cash back in restaurants for the first year. I worked for a shitty chain restaurant as a server, so I would just stack a few of my large cash tables, and put them on my card, then pay it off every week. Made an extra $20 to $30 a shift. Be courteous and friendly. You'll achieve a lot more than someone that is better than you with a smart mouth. Item duplication glitches. The first 3 SimCity games. Build a modest-sized town, set tax rates to something high, but not high enough that it reduced the population BR, turn off disasters BR, set speed to super fast BR, go to sleep BR, wake up a zillionaire. If a stat holiday falls on a Tuesday or Thursday, book the corresponding Monday or Friday off and have a 4-day weekend. Never thought of it as a loophole to be exploited until a coworker called it one as he filed a complaint with HR, saying I was using it to get more vacation time than him. I found out the worker's door code to my local gym. Gym's 24 hours, so the doors are electronic and controlled by PIN codes. You get one when you sign up. Went a solid year without paying a membership. When I was in college, they had this deal, where if you signed up for a free trial of Netflix, you could get a $10 gift code for Papa John's. They didn't even ask for a credit card back then, just an email, so I would just make new email addresses, and would get a code every time. Not only did I get free Netflix for a while, but I also got a lot of free pizza. I don't have anything interesting here, but my sister does. She really likes this one game called Rossitizens on Roblox. In the game you can get jobs, earn money, and buy houses and furniture and stuff with it. For a brief period of time there was a duplication glitch, so she exploited the hell out of it. Rare and limited edition items? She now had dozens of each. She ended up with thousands and thousands of items she never had to pay for. She sold a lot of them and made tons of money in the game. Then they fixed it. Oh well. One time was at McDonald's with a friend, and I got a McWrap for €2, and I decided to try out filling out the survey at the bottom of the receipt for a free drink. I got my drink, and to my surprise at the receipt I got for the drink there was another code for a survey, so I tried it again, and it worked. We did it about 5 times until we decided to leave. The next day I decided to try it again, and for some reason it didn't work. A month ago I was at McDonald's, but unfortunately didn't work again. Pokemon Black. It was my first Pokemon game, and I figured out that when you ran back and forth for long enough on any route, a single tile of tall grass would start to shake. 9 times out of 10 it contained an Adino, which was easy to kill, and dropped a ridiculous amount of EXP. I exploited this so much, at each gym I was easily 10 levels over the leader. Score hidden. In college there was a parking garage that charged around $2/hour. I couldn't get a parking pass, but learned the heated garage that charged $2/hour had a $20 fee for a lost ticket. I would park my car in there for a few weeks at a time, and when I had to leave would lose my ticket, and be forced to pay the $20 lost ticket fee. A parking pass was around $500 to park outside, and I ended up paying around $300 in lost ticket fees to park in the heated garage. If I post this question every 3 weeks, I can get karma. Well, I haven't used it yet, but if I remember my wedding vows correctly. I had a job where when you clocked in, It rounded to the nearest 15-minute increment. I would always clock in at the 51 or 52-minute mark, to round the timestamp back to the 45-minute mark. I wouldn't actually start working until the start of the hour, so I got an extra hour of pay every week, worked 4 days. Score hidden. When I was at university, the pay for campus printers all worked on a system where you'd print your documents, release them at the printer, they'd print, then after they've finished printing, it would then contact the server to get the cost deducted from your balance. That final step always took a while, and I discovered in my first year that if I cancelled the print job as the final page was rolling out of the printer, it wouldn't deduct the cost from my balance. With this method I got free printing for nearly 2 years before they upgraded the system. Score hidden. I worked at a restaurant in a hotel where you could collect employee bucks of sorts for going above and beyond at your job. You could use them to pay for things like a room stay or food in the hotel restaurant. They were worth $1 each, but you obviously couldn't cash them in for real money. I saved up about $450 worth, used $100 worth to pay for a hotel room on a day I was working, bought a soda from myself at the restaurant, and tipped myself the extra $3.50 and signed in all to my room bill. Upon checkout it just shows that I spent $350 at the restaurant, not a breakdown of the bill. So then I used my employee bucks to pay off the hotel bill, and got an extra $350 on my paycheck, minus taxes of course. Went to an ultra-strict Catholic school. Above all else your shirt tail better be tucked in. There were even teachers who would squat at the lunch benches, and see if your shirt tail got untucked sitting down, and try to give you detention for it. Well, I checked the handbook and it said school sweaters could always be worn, so in the middle of the lunchroom, I stood up, untucked my shirt, and then put a sweater over it. Dickbag teacher tried to give me detention, and I said you can't see that my shirt is untucked. He got mad, tried to reach and pull up my sweater, and I said hold up now, Catholic school teacher trying to rip off my clothing? Wonder how that will do in the media. He was livid, but a dean came up and said he's right, we have to let it go. Next day everyone in the school had sweaters on. Even in the summer when it was boiling hot.
Ho!